I am adorable. Just because तुम अभी भी इतनी hot हो, मुझे कम मत समझो. तो पता है, दुनिया के बेस्ट छोले भटूरे कहाँ मिलते हैं?
What is छोले भटूरे?
तुम चांदनी चौक के रोशन कालरा के ओनली पुत्र होकर ऐसे बातें नहीं कर सकते.
Wow.
Thank God, अब DNA टेस्ट की जरूरत नहीं है. तुम मेरी बेटी हो.
जाओ बाबा जाओ.
हैरी के साथ और टाइम नहीं स्पेंड कर सकते तुम. He needs his dad.
तो 3 दिन में वापस जाना है मुझे. काम, काम से प्यार, प्यार से काम में कहीं प्यार तो रह ही गया. वो भी करना है. अपनी जिंदगी से, अपनी बेटी से. लेकिन ये बस नहीं, रेस्टोरेंट है.
लेकिन क्या रेस्टोरेंट का बात कर रहा है? हम टाइम भी चलाया है.
बट हमें किसी पे हमला नहीं करना है. हमें कस्टमर्स चाहिए और वो भी जिंदा.
अकबर को यही फील आया ना जब उसने ताजमहल बनवाया था.
क्यों? क्योंकि ताजमहल अकबर ने नहीं, शाहजहां ने बनाया. लड़की को तुम पसंद हो या नहीं, वो सस्पेंस का एक अपना मजा था. थोड़ा इंतजार, पता लगाने की कोशिश. वो अच्छे दिन थे यार.
आजकल इतना टाइम नहीं है. स्वाइप राइट या स्वाइप लेफ्ट तो बाहर में जाओ.
इससे मुझ पे वर्क नहीं करने वाला है.
अब पे वर्क ही क्या करते हो बाबा?
What? What did you say? Ali?
Gentlemen, so Chef is being released, B4U, or rather is releasing Chef globally. So first on stage, I'd like to invite Mr. Sunil Shah, Head of Film Division B4U Motion Pictures. Sunil, could we please have you on stage? It's okay, just clap. I promise we are not going to ask you for any dirhams for clapping. So clapping is free. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, big round of applause for Chef. There you go. Now everybody's woken up. Okay, next on stage, ladies and gentlemen, a man who wears many hats, film writer, producer and director of Chef, Raja Krishna Menon. And now, for the man of the hour, we've fallen in love with his myriad characters over so many years. So he's all ready to title his apron. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me with a thunderous round of applause for the lead actor of Chef, Saif Ali Khan. So, Saif, we actually have a surprise for you. On behalf of Oberoi, we have a few accessories to gift you. You're pretty sick of them, I'm sure, but I think we do have to give you these.
Okay.
This is a gift.
A chef's hat.
Yes, and an apron. You could choose to wear it or not, but we do just like to welcome you Dubai style.
I look like a chef.
I think
you should all wear one.
Are there 3 chef hats?
Thank you.
Welcome, sir. Welcome. All right. So Raja, we actually start with a question with you. What made you pick Chef? I know you. I think it's a mic right there.
Yep.
So we've heard you love the human angle of the story, and you're a big foodie yourself. But what drew you to Chef? What drew you to thinking, hey, I'd like to remake this Indian style?
Yeah, so really wasn't too interested in remaking a film. I think remaking means making the same film over again, which is kind of boring. So, no, sit down off. Hello? Hello? Oh, sorry. Yeah, Yeah, so we were looking to find a reason to to Indianize the film and see if there's something very specific. And there are a few things.
Wow, really? Guys?
Someone's fixing this off. Can you hear me now?
Can you hear me?
I'm loud, right? Alright.
No, but get a mic.
Should I? Someone's off the mixer.
Like, you want to come here and use the podium. Oh, this works, apparently.
Hello? So there are a few things, and the first is the fact that Roshan Kalra, the character that says in this film, is someone who made this decision to be a chef in the early 90s or thereabout. It's a very important time for India. It's the first time we had the opportunity to kind of think of new professions, otherwise we had to be doctors and engineers and, So that was very Indian for me. And the same generation of people for the first time actually had the opportunity to think about themselves, when they got to their 30s or 40s and kind of began to wonder what really success means and what it means to be happy and ask those questions, because success came much quicker than it did to the generation before us. These were two very important things. Thirdly, was a very strong woman character in the film, something we are seeing in India a lot now, independent, not depending. I don't know who's saying hello to whom. Hi. I don't know. Someone said hello, so I said hello. I'm not sure. Alright, so I think a very strong independent woman character in the film, whose happiness is not dependent on being married or being on her husband's happiness, and who's taken it on herself to make her life what she wants it to be. So there are all these things, and of course there's travel and there's food and there's father and son bond. So at some point we said, we have to make this film. That's Ritesh, Suresh and I while we were writing it, and that's why we ended up attempting to adapt it.
Wonderful. And Saif, we've heard that Raja's a bit of a stickler when it comes to everything needing to be perfect. What was your training like? Did he give you hell in terms of, because it's difficult to portray food on screen, I'm assuming, because you can't use smell, you can't use, right? So it must be challenging.
No, I mean, stickler meaning, I think everyone, I respect and I'm very happy about the fact that he's very particular about the world he's creating. So that's always a good thing when you're trying to make a movie. Otherwise, I don't think anybody's interested in working in a film where nobody's being specific anymore. So, or more importantly, nobody's interested in watching that kind of film either. So, we do work hard, and it's a wonderful time for movies where kind of slightly different and interesting characters, you get a chance to portray them and practice them, prepare them. Food is a key element in this movie. It's like the glue that binds a lot of things together. I'm very happy also, despite the fact that it would have been so easy, that we haven't gone too heavy into the food. At the right time, there's a touch of extra care taken to show the kind of food. Yes, the kind of foods we've selected also because we don't have the sensory support of two of our senses, namely smell and taste. But we have sound, so some things crackle when we cut them. Cheese is stringy when it's eaten, and I think a lot of sequences will make people hungry, and the theatre owners will be very happy because people will go and order lots of food, I think, at important things. But it's primarily an emotional father-son story to me, and a modern take on a modern issue, which is time management. And if people are working hard, how do you spend time with your children, and what is the definition of success? Is it just making money and paying bills, or is it being free and happy? The film looks at all this, and that's what excited me most.
Perfect. So speaking of hungry, before I open up the question to everybody else, we have a small smell test, Saif and Raja. Yeah, but you put him through an entire training. So, if you could smell, see, that's what, if you could smell a spice and identify it correctly.
Okay.
Okay.
You want to start?
Hey, I know this.
That is what
It's like song.
but not.
It's not song.
No, it's not so.
Not that song.
You guys better give me the right answer.
You look very like.
Sunil, you want to give it a try?
It's very peaceful today. Maybe you will have a handsome look. This is it. I don't know what it is, yeah. It's like a
Starts with M.
meaty.
Yes! That's what
That's unfair. It's kind of a guess. It smells like song. They all smell like song.
Okay, that's right.
Is it song?
This is song.
Is that soft? Yeah, that is soft.
Aha!
That is
I
soft.
got it.
This one?
This one?
Okay, this we all know. Gin.
This is ginger.
It is. Okay, last one.
Ginger.
That, no, the other one.
Is that cinnamon?
No. King of all.
This is like garam masala.
Yes, it is garam masala.
Is garam masala a spice? Is it a brand?
It's a mix of.
It's a mix. It's a mix of
Many spices.
many spices.
But it's not like a spice. It's like a mix.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, Raja won this round. Well done, Raja. Well done.
Well done. I'm happy, of course.
Also, Sunil, B4U's association with Chef, you're releasing the film globally. I'm sure you're looking forward to a lot from the movie. Would you like to share?
Actually, I was very proud. We signed the film last year, 2016, and I always told Vikram that if I ever get a chance to distribute this film, let's sign it now, and it's all yours. And especially Saif being in the film, such a great actor. And previously, obviously, we've done Airlift,
Yes.
Raja's film as well. We had a great success, so we'll have the second one on success as well.
Absolutely. Do we have the special dish from Oberoi ready? Yes. Is it ready? Okay, so we have from Oberoi and Ananta, the restaurant that's hosting us, they have a special dish for the three of you to taste, and they would like you to compare that to the chola bhatura that you get in Chandni Chowk. And sure. So why don't we actually open up a few questions? We'll take a break. We'll taste the chola bhatura after that. So ladies and gentlemen, do we have a question for Team Chef?
Yes, sir. Suleiman from Urdu Akhbar. आप सब ये कह रहे शेफ कैसा एक्सपीरियंस रहा क्योंकि आपने भी स्मेल किया आपको चीज़ें समझ आई कुक भी किया आपने ड्यूरिंग शूट
जी यस हमने प्रैक्टिस की एक कंफर्ट लेवल होना चाहिए था एक किचन में और एक कमर्शियल किचन में घर के किचन में नहीं तो वो एक हॉस्पिटल के इमरजेंसी रूम की तरह है इतना केओस होता है इतना हाई प्रेशर काम होता है तो उससे फेमिलियरिटी थोड़ी बहुत रखना काटना बेसिक सीखना जैसे प्याज कैसे काटते हैं अनियंस कैसे काटते हैं हम चीटिंग नहीं करना चाहते थे और बहुत सी चीज़ें सीखने को मिली कुछ डिशेस बनाने के लिए कुछ अच्छी रेसिपीज सो इट वाज अ ग्रेट एक्सपीरियंस लर्निंग many things just to look comfortable as a chef, as a professional chef.
आपने फादर का कैरेक्टर किया और साथ में आपने खुद इमोशनली आपने बेटे के साथ एक्टिंग की ये एक्सपीरियंस कैसा रहा आपका
Well, I didn't have to learn that so much because I have some children, so, which was great because sometimes I find if you don't know the emotion then you kind of try and overdo it. You're too nice to children and you look at them like they're, of course they are special, but not all the time in a great way. Sometimes they're especially trying. So I think to have that honesty, to know how to look at a child, is something I think a father understands, right?
Someone said that when you don't know an emotion, you tend to ape the emotion you've seen in other films, which is terrible, So I think especially unless you've seen your own child, especially in a relationship like this, which is so intense, agar aapne ye nahi dekha ki, when the kid first walked or the first words, or all those emotions, or sharing something, kabhi you see your own child do something that's kind of almost like you did it, and there's an amazing moment. You can't learn that from watching cinema or reading literature. I think you need to kind of have that. So I think that worked out well.
Yeah. Okay, Chola Bhatura time before. I will come back to you in just a second.
And he's a really nice kid, the one in the movie. They tested some 150 children. And they found this guy who's like a mix of very natural acting talent as well as a really pleasing personality. That made it much easier to write with him.
Okay, looks good.
So a bite each, and they would like you to critique it. Wow, that's making me hungry. Can all of you smell it? You can, right?
I think it's very good, and it's got a very clean flavor to it, and spicy and everything. If I had to compare this to Chandni Chowk, I'd say it's slightly more risk-free.
I think we all kind of understand what that means.
It is a bit boring because I think half the fun is knowing whether you're going to survive or not.
All right, thank you so much. Thank you for tasting that. Thank you, Oberoi, and thank you,
Very
Ananta,
tasty.
for giving
Yeah,
us.
nice one. Did you make it?
No? Did you make it? Chef, did you make it? Yes. Thank you so much. Yes, your question.
Okay, Chef, I just want to know.
You told him or me? I'm
Now
sad.
no, but now you work as a chef.
Okay, you can call me chef.
So the role was in Salam Namaste as a chef was different, or this one is difficult? Which one is more authentic? Chef?
Salam Namaste wasn't really to me about the chef, I think it was one scene in the kitchen. This one is like films have changed slightly. That was a romantic comedy, it was great fun. This is a slightly more serious look at all these things. I would say it's a more grown-up movie, generally. Also, the target audience for this movie, I hope very young people like it also. But it is generally someone who will relate, are people who probably have kids or are kids.
Yeah,
Hopefully both will relate.
Both, yeah.
So Salam Namaste was a different musical, fun, cool kind of movie.
Yeah, but I love your especially scene when you are watching on the TV and writing a recipe
In
in
Salam
that
Namaste.
Salam Namaste. That was really nice. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. And one more question like this. Now, after doing the role in this movie, you have more respect for the chef. How much work they are doing
Always
behind
think
the
I saw
kitchen.
him. Nobody I saw him from here. And hat.
Because you know now how much pain is going through when you are preparing one dish, yeah?
Yes, I mean, I've always respected chefs and everyone who works, and I know it's hard work to run a kitchen.
It's really hard.
It's not that just because I did this, I've suddenly understood that cooking is difficult. I always knew that it was difficult work. But now I think I go out of my way to thank the chef or to appreciate the chef a little more than before.
Thank you. Thank you.
सर मुदस्सर 19 न्यूज़ से मेरा आपसे सवाल है बहुत सारी सिटी जो है ना बेसिक में पाकिस्तान से बहुत सारी सिटी खानों के लिए जो हैं स्पेशली लाहौर भी तो कभी आपके जहन में आया हो कि किसी ऐसी सिटी में या जैसे लाहौर के खाने बड़े मशहूर हैं दिल्ली के जैसे मशहूर है तो आपके जहन में कभी आया हो कि किसी सिटी में जाकर स्पेशली कोई खाना खाऊं या कोई ऐसा फेवरेट
आई थिंक हर एक सिटी का कुछ खास होता है ना, जैसे कैलकाटा जाते हैं इंडिया में तो एक अलग डिश होती है, कुछ मच्छी या उस टाइप का खाना, दिल्ली में अलग खाना होता है, बॉम्बे में, राजस्थान में दाल बाटी चूरमा, अलग अलग चीज़ें हैं, महाराष्ट्र में अलग है। सो इंडिया में इतनी डाइवर्सिटी है और जो हमारे फिल्म में भी केरला में इतना अच्छा अलग खाना है, इडियापम एंड व्हाट एंड एग रोस्ट, ये मैंने कभी पहले नहीं खाया था, लेकिन पाकिस्तानी फूड इज नॉट लाइक northern frontier food, raan, biryani, this kind of food. So I think food is a cultural expression, हमारे फिल्म में अलग अलग किचन्स भी दिखने को मिलेंगे, केरला किचन्स, अमृतसर किचन्स, so it's an amazing thing, हर जगह खाना है, लेकिन पहली बार हमने एक फिल्म बनाई है मेरे ख्याल से उस पर, जो मैं बहुत खुश हूँ उससे।
Manju, you need a mic?
I could probably hear you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, Manjula.
Manjula.
Manjula is it?
Oh, where?
Manju Shah is it? That's just Manju.
You talk on the phone, but sorry, Manju ji.
Okay, two questions. The first one is, do you associate food with nostalgia?
Yeah, it's pretty close to smell, and smell is something that's really strongly associated with memory for me. Like, sorry.
Yeah. So adding to that, you said yes. So what would you associate these four things with? Pasta. What is that memory that triggers?
Travel, you know, from Italy, I suppose.
Okay. The rice in Kerala that Kerala, I'm actually Gilambi. What rice that we're talking about?
Banana leaves.
Okay.
Banana leaves and the backwaters.
Okay.
And shooting Tashan. Yeah, back in the day. Yeah, they're very nice.
Okay. What about the pizza?
Archie comics with Jughead
Okay.
eating them and Nirulas in Delhi with everything on it.
Okay.
Before they all came to...
Before it became cool.
Yeah, before they all came, the different brands.
Footlong.
Yeah, the Nirulas. Yeah. So, but Jughead eating pizza.
And what about chole that you have right now? Because has it changed now? This is different than the one that you had.
I wasn't much into chole bhature when I was.
What is your favorite food?
I used to eat like bhel puri every day after school, pani puri, fried bhindi. My earliest memories of food were sneaking off to the servants' quarters in Bhopal and the gardeners and the people working in the fields and eating with them. Because our food was really boring. We used to have like chicken cutlets and tomato sandwich, and my mother would say, you know, be careful, and we were boiling the water. And I'd run off there and play with them and eat this amazing tasty food. And my maid would chase me and say, I'm going to tell your mother, and I'd get really scared that I'm going to be in trouble. Imagine how silly.
But anything that you remember of there that you tasted later, something interesting?
What? Food in my childhood?
Yes.
That's what I'm saying. Bhindi, rice, mirchi, pani puri, bhel puri, you know, in terms of junk food, nirulas, pizza, these burgers. I tried to make a hamburger at home once. I had a ladybird book as my first cooking experience. Really simple, like, you know, this is Spot, Spot is on the mat, that kind of, where is Spot, that kind of book. And it said, take meat patty, cut it, put egg, put flour, onions, and it binds, right? And it's supposed to be this big burger, and I did it, and it just, and my mother said, great, you're making something, and it shrunk. And it became that big. So she came in and said, oh, nice kebabs. So ever since then I've said, yeah, they're kebabs. I don't admit that they were hamburgers. So these are experiences. Watching her cook, not really watching her cook, but noticing that she's cooking. My father cooked as well, but more in an instructional way. He cut that and put that in there. Instructing the cook.
He was the captain.
Yeah, yes, he was the captain. Yeah,
go out and score 100.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, it's Manjusha.
Yes, Manjusha. Hi.
The trailers are lovely. Firstly, was it
Thank
a
you.
relief to play an age-appropriate role here? Because I look at you and I'm like, finally a hero.
You know, I always thought, I made certain benchmarks in my mind. I said, you know, when, like, Clint Eastwood gets old, when I thought of certain stars, like Pierce Brosnan, you know, when he gets old, and it's time to look at life differently because he was really up. And in more contemporary, I thought, when I joined movies, Salman Khan, Amir Khan, Akshay, these guys were doing films and were on top. And I thought when they get old, I'll start thinking about worrying because I'm about 5 years younger. And they're still killing it and going from strength to strength. So I don't think age is an issue. But because of them, the kind of longevity of an actor seems to increase, which is wonderful. And Mr. Bachchan, of course. So it is a great relief because I've always noticed you kind of look a bit younger when you play your age, rather than you look much older if you try and be younger. And those days of everyone having to be a college boy are thankfully long gone. And it is a great relief to be able to play age appropriate. I'm very comfortable. I think I've concentrated on doing that and thoroughly enjoying it. And I think we should all concentrate on defining and being the best possible version of our age, and hopefully we'll have roles to play there.
Yeah, you're killing it, by the way.
Thank you. You're very kind.
And Raja, did you have real chefs as your extras just to make up for the fact that
Yeah.
he's not a professional?
So actually the kitchen was completely, all 9 chefs in the kitchen were from the Marriott. And they kind of said, we'll never shoot another film in our lives. You know, yeah, it's like 14 hours of just whipping up eggs or something, you know. Yeah, so all the chefs in the background are all real. In fact, even in the in Dhaba and the other places where we went to, we all used local chefs and talent, and the food is all real. It's not advertising food, so you know, it's actually fresh food. Well, like in advertising, we use potatoes for ice cream and we use stuff like that. Yeah, so it lasts, you know. So there's no food color; it's all edible food. So it's really painful to shoot.
We can find a Kerala connection in both of you. Airlift and this.
I wonder why.
Well, the Kerala connection in this one was kind of created, to be honest. You know, the other one is because that's the reason I knew about the story with Airlift, right? The only reason I knew is, you know, the Gulf plays such a large part of our lives if you're a Malayali, right? So, you know, that's why I knew about, you know, Mr. Matthews and all the rest of the stuff that happened there. In this one, we kind of